Hello and welcome everyone in another episode of Researcher Celebrity powered by Empowering Science Foundation. Today we have Dr. Sanjay Khandelwal with us. A brief introduction about Dr. Sanjay. He has done his bachelor's from University of Rajasthan, Jaipur, India in life sciences. And then for master's, he joined Maharshi Dayanand Saraswati University at Ajmer, which he pursued microbiology stream. For doing the PhD, he came to New Delhi and joined Jawaharlal Nehru University and did his research in immunology. Then almost moved to the another part of the world in United States of America, where he did his first postdoc at National Cancer Institute at NIH, Bethesda, USA, and then joined Duke Medical Center as a senior research associate, then served as research scientist, and now currently is working as assistant professor of medicine. With this brief introduction, I would like to welcome Dr. Sanjay at the platform. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, Raja, for that kind information and doing this research celebrity for the aspiring student and to give them like reality over the science and research.
Thank you for your kind words, sir. So we always start this conversation like how and when you decided that you want to become a researcher.
Yeah, so actually, growing up, I think I was a good at studies. So in that time, like that is like around 30 years back, I think I would say now. So my goal was to become a doctor because that time doctor was like, now also like they are good. So like my aim was to become a doctor and I was good at studies, but I was not at good, I think, at biological science. I was good at like more analytical science and mathematics. But I like biology and I was very curious about the things. But unfortunately, like I didn't get selected to the medical schools, that time. And then I tried like 1 year. So that time we used to like I was studying in my hometown. That is like a small town. Now it's like big city, I believe. But that time it was a small town. So then I moved to like Jaipur. That's like a state capital for my preparation of the medical exams. And I dropped 1 year, so I didn't take like admission to the college. So that time I didn't get selected into the medical school. So that time I was very depressed that, like whatever I thought, I'm not going to be that. So I didn't had any kind of, direction that time because that time we didn't had internet and we didn't had that much guidance also. So then the next step was to get admission into the college. So we got, as I said, that I was good at studies. So we got admission in the prestigious college, Maharaja's College in Jaipur. And then, I still, during that time also, certainly I was interested in science and research, but still we were not sure what career path to take. So then after finishing my bachelor's, then we went for the master's in Ajmer. And that's where I got more exposure to research. And that's where I thought, okay, research could be my career. So because we used to do experiment and we used to answer the questions. So that's where I got the real, direction that maybe in future I will go for research. And that time I cleared the NET exam. So means during my master's. So I was eligible for the lectureship, but I didn't go that route. But I appeared in the exams, like entrance exam. And the same year I got into JNU. And once I came to JNU, then research was like the only thing which I would do.
Great. So as you mentioned, coming from small town, and then to start with, like most of the biology aspirants what we call in India is like medical stream after 10th. When you join, 99% of the students want to become a doctor. That is almost by a default thing that if you are pursuing medical, you want to become a doctor. And then not making through those selection, entrance exams and all that, most of the students feel broken almost to start with at so early in their career. And then now what we are seeing in India is like people are actually committing suicide. Students of 12-year-old, this naive student who have not a lot, what we can say, the experience is very less. The guidance is too much. And the pressure from the society, from the parents is obviously like bigger than a mountain. So let's start the conversation today. How you will tell to the students who just cleared their 12th, were unable to secure the seat in, various medical exams, so that now they cannot become a doctor, at least for if they have tried for a couple of years. So how to start from there?
Yeah, no, before you that, I go into that, and just now I learned from you, like when we were talking before this recording, you said that young students are committing suicide. So I was very sad. I mean, I follow Indian news, but I never saw that. I heard that in coachings, people do suicide, but I was not that aware that, has become such a big problem. And rather than, I would say that parents and society is more responsible for that because, we put like lots of pressure, like they should be X, Y, and Z, then only they are successful in the life. But I don't think that's the case. Okay, so coming to the my guidance or my thoughts, like for the people who did not get selected. So, like one thing cannot decide your whole life. Okay, if you get that thing, there are like, okay, you can do that thing, but even you don't get it, it doesn't mean that all the possibilities in the life or in the world has stopped. You have to explore the possibilities. And I was just reading one quote where it was saying that, if one door does not open, our problem is that we look at that door for so long and we don't look another door which is already open for us. So I would say that never lose hope. And I was a victim of that kind of, negativity. Once I didn't get into that, I thought, I can't do anything. But I would say that even during that time, my father, who was even like businessman, he was very supportive. So he would say like, doesn't matter whether you get into the medical or not. And we had a business. He said, you can always come back to the business and can do your shop. So that was a good support. But yeah, I would say that never lose hope. And if you look at the successful people, like really big successful people, who they had like lots of failure in their life.
Absolutely. And this is what I would like to tell to all the audience here. Like, either you are a researcher or you probably will become one of us in, later phase of your life. Failures is very integral part of human life. It is research where you feel it on a daily basis, but it is normal for any other human being also, be it any profession, be it any stream. What we should do is how we can make these building blocks and construct our castle. This is what we should be approaching. With this positive attitude, you can turn anything. And we had so many researcher celebrities. Obviously, if your education was 2 decades ago, 3 decades ago, as Dr. Sanjay just said, becoming a doctor for medical students was almost a default thing that even if they are interested or not, at least they will pursue it for some time. And then they will join the route which Dr. Sanjay has taken for bachelor's and then master's pursuing PhD. And then in the meantime of this journey, they start to find their inner passion, that how much interested they are in research. If they have stopped at that time, and as Dr. Sanjay said, that there were opportunities that if he would have just joined a family business, okay, then we would not have a researcher like him today, and then we wouldn't have this conversation as a researcher celebrity. So first thing is that you should always be open for the SWOT analysis. You should know your strength, your weakness, and then comes the opportunities. You should always explore as many as opportunities you can. So Dr. Sanjay, let's start with now. Not making is done. You have said that how they should look for the opportunities. So you already mentioned briefly that you explored research more in masters, and that's when you wanted that, okay, now I'm doing this, joined JNU, from where research, you are here today in United States. Now let's talk about the journey of PhD at JNU, which you did, and the lessons which you can share and guide our next generation of researchers.
Yeah, no, that's really important. So like I joined the JNU and I got into an immunology lab. So that's what I wanted to do. So as all we are discussing that research journey is not very smooth. And but the thing is, the main thing, as we were also discussing, you have to find the opportunities, like what you can do the best in that environment. And don't look like how others projects, other people's project are like going on. They could be very fancy project, like that's very hot, and then they are publishing Nature. But whatever you are doing may not be that hot, but you can contribute significantly in that field. So again, the failures, when I started PhD, I was not aware about the failures in the experiment, because when you do the masters, and especially in that time in Rajasthan, when doing the master, it was like somebody has already done the experiment. You have to just repeat and you have to get the answer. So most of the time, like if it doesn't work one time, two time, third time, it will work because somebody has already done it. But in research, like, everyday failures, and around 99% time our experiment doesn't work. So initially, like, not having that kind of, like a background. So every time something doesn't work, it will be like 2, 3 days of kind of mourning. Oh, it didn't work. And then you have to come up with that and then again start the experiment. So that's a part of life, that things does not work in research that fast. In technology, you will see that iPhone 5, 10, 7, 8, whatever, like they comes next year. But like in medicine, things like move very slowly because of the failures. So don't get disheartened by the, like, if your experiment is not working. And the other thing is that don't worry, like if your project is not very fancy, but still you can contribute in that. And take advantage of the opportunities. So in my case, when I was doing the PhD, like my supervisor, who is very well-known scientist, but he was busy with the administrative duties, or like he came to United States for like sabbatical. So that was again like disheartening. There was not many people to guide me. But I took that as an opportunity, and then I tried the best which I could do with the like friends or other people, and he was certainly there like through emails and those things, but he was not there with me real time. But that allowed me to work on the innovative thing rather than like like doing one thing and to next thing another day, another day. So I took time to think like what could be done, and I could have time to analyze my results and could see what was the novel in that. And because of that, I could develop some innovative techniques, and that was very helpful for my PhD research. So initially, like 2, 3 years, things did not work, but after that, things started working, and then I could have like, I would not say very like, fancy research, but I could have my PhD as like very decent PhD. So, and the other thing is that, uh, work in the team. Don't compete with the people who are working with you, rather than take advantage of, advantage is not the like right word, but rather than collaborate with them, help them as much as you can, and get the help as much as they can help you. So that's a very important thing, because you want to be in a very nice and happy environment. If you are doing really like innovative research, your brain should be very calm and you should be happy. Otherwise, if you're just repeating things or like, mechanically doing things, that's fine. Like you don't need that much brain. But if you want some like innovative things, like your brain should be very calm so that you can observe in your results if there is some trend or something like that. So those are, and like, sometimes, oh, like, my friend finished my PhD in like 5 years, I got 5.5 years, 6, it doesn't matter like in long term.
Absolutely. And here, I think I would like to tell to this to audience that Dr. Sanjay pointed out some of the most important point, especially at the early age when you are joining a lab for a PhD. The teamwork is the real essence of anyone's life in general, especially in research, because whatever the experiment, even if you're doing everything just by yourself, just you always mention that you are following someone's method, you are following someone guidelines. Even if you're developing new, there was this fundamental work which was done by some other researcher. So that is the reason why we have so much of references at the end of our every publication. So that shows that how teamwork is so important in research in general. Also, Dr. Sanjay mentioned about do not compare. That is one thing, because what you are doing for your PhD research, that means that no one has done exact study. There might be single tweaks in there, either the species change or whatever. That's why you have always this novel title or topic, for your thesis research. So it is not comparable by anyone. You should not compare that also. Now, the second thing
And
also, which, yes, sir, please.
No, so if you are changing the topic, then I would like to add one or more, but two more things. But if you're not changing the topic, you can continue, and then I can add on. Yeah.
No, no, yes, please, just tell this.
No, so and the other thing is that, so that time, 20, 25 years back, speaking English was a very difficult thing for
Yes.
us. So that like lowers your confidence a lot. So that was a big problem that time. So I will tell the people who are coming from a like very like small town, like, English is just a language. And I think the world also should understand, especially in India. I don't know how the things have changed. Don't judge somebody by his or her like, language or like speaking skills. It's just a language. So as a student, you might feel like, okay, you don't know how smartly to speak, but that's fine. Be confident. Don't lose your confidence. One day somebody will recognize you.
Absolutely. And this is another topic like confidence and languages. So in India, we have so many languages. It happens to be that now English is more of the scientific language where people can converse easily. And yes, Empowering Sense Foundation believes in breaking the barrier. One of the barrier is this, that in the rural parts of India, where due to lack of resources or less availability, because now we cannot say with this world of YouTube and internet, they have it in villages also. So it is just now about the guidance that English, you mentioned absolutely perfect thing that English is just a language. So don't feel inferior that if you cannot speak it very well, because you are known for your research about your innovative thoughts and the way you perform your experiments. That is what defines you as a researcher. You might or might not be able to speak English, but that is one thing which you can always learn and work towards, which we say that now with international travels, national and international symposiums, meetings, scientific conferences, all the time, they give you all this platform where you can go and present your work and connect with these people, because that's where you meet your prospective, advisors, PIs, and whatnot, and you learn so much in there. So only thing which needs to be there is the passion for your research. If you have it, you can make it anything and everything out of it. Dr. Sanjay, now let's come back to so when you just completed your PhD, you moved to United States. So you have seen Indian science, like 2 decades before, and now whenever you have seen or how much you are in contact with the people in here. So how you see that things have been changed over these 2 decades for researchers in India, and if someone wants to go abroad, how should they prepare themselves?
Yeah, so like whatever experience have, I like to come abroad. I have like, around 15, 16 years back. So, but I mean, that time, like being in JNU, like, doing PhD and having some publication, and there was no issue of getting a postdoc in US. So we don't have to prepare. But yeah, so one thing which I did is that, I came up for a conference and that's where like met many of the people and I was interviewed. And that time itself, like my postdoc was finalized.
Mhm.
So, and that's how it works. And then like you have to be in touch with your seniors, like to tell them, okay, if you know any opportunity, like please let us know. So I think that, but yeah, if you are like doing good research, you have publications, I think finding a postdoc in US should not be a problem.
Nice. So when you joined and you have done research in India, you are doing very well in United States. What are the things which you can tell that are change like different in terms of infrastructure? We know that things are different, but in there, but how the approach of a researcher is different in United States, and how we in India can develop it early on so that we don't get any kind of because there is one thing called cultural shock, but there is another thing called as like shock, the as work style shock also, like how we work in here and how you work there.
Yeah, so I think that's what I also had, like, when I came to here. So one thing which like I would recommend for the aspiring students or, researchers is that be prepared for the change, try to adapt as soon as early as possible. Don't say, oh, things used to be like that there and things used to be like here, like that. So there is always change and be adaptable to that, because you can't change the system. You can't change the Indian system in one day. You can't change the US system in one day. The only thing which you can change is yourself. So in terms of research, I think, and it also depends like in what environment you are doing research in India. So in my time, like, because as I mentioned that, I was driving my own project, my PI was in United States. So I had like lots of freedom whenever I want, I can work and then, the like whatever point I want to emphasize or like do multiple experiment, I can do it, But coming to NIH is like research intensive, like, institute, and things are very different. And then, lifestyle also different. In lifestyle, in the sense, like, we used to live in the campus in JNU. So there was like no hassle like for eating food, or we were in the hostels. So there was no issue. But when you come to the United States, especially in the winter, like in January, where everything is cold, and that time we didn't have the cell phone. So like life also gives you like lots of challenges. So be prepared for that thing, yeah. And then you have to like, so in like India, I don't know now how it works, like, but when you come, you join, things are very slow. You like get time to get adjusted and those things. But here, like when you come, like the day you join, you are supposed to work in the lab, like, as expected, as, but like, if you're coming from a different country and you have to adjust your life, you have to know the system. And that time, the things were very different in like India and here, like, the bus system and those things. So be ready for that, like, change. And in terms of like research, like, differences. So here, like, timing, like, okay, if you have a meeting at 9, you have to be there at like 8:50, 5, something like that. You can't say, oh, I got stuck in the traffic or that kind of thing. And so here, like, it's very structured, like, nobody or not many people work on the weekend, but they are like, okay, we take the weekend as a regular day. So like there are lots of differences that way. So be prepared for those things. And as I mentioned that, be ready to get, to adapt with the new system.
Absolutely. And I think adaptability is in the first place is very important for any researcher anywhere in the world, because you have to adapt not only for the different conditions when you are moving to the countries, but also to the struggle which it brings. And especially now when we have to go abroad, like from India. So there are so many different things, as you mentioned, about as simple as the availability of the food. If you are living in hostels in India, you don't have to do anything, but when you are doing it outside, and if you have any dietary restrictions, if you are vegetarian, these are the struggles which are not discussed. Although people are so much driven by the passion that they want to go and join it abroad, but within the first week or month, they see all this struggle, and that's what, like, because this was not given due thought that there will be these struggles also in establishing. So now I would like to ask about, with all these personal and professional, struggles and differences in the fast pace versus where you have some relaxation in there, how one should keep their innovative brain critical thinking on, like, on top of all these struggles.
That's very, and again, like all these things come adaptability and things like how you can keep your mind calm. If you are calm, then you can do think innovatively. So that's like big challenge. And like just saying by me will not like change your like mind. It will take practice, and then for that there are so many things which you can do, like to keep yourself calm and accept the life as it is coming to you. Yeah, so like the important thing is that if you are innovative, and as I mentioned, that different people have different qualities. Some people look at the result and they conclude immediately. You might take longer time, but you are seeing something else which others are not seeing. So in that case, what happens that, people who don't know you will think, okay, you are slow and probably like, you're not moving as fast as you should. But in that case, like you should accept that thing that people will think like that. So you should keep that thing in mind and like, but make your point like very strong that that's what I'm seeing and that's why I'm slow. but explain, then people will accept. That's the best thing about United States. Like, maybe in first go, they will not accept, but when you are coming with the reasoning that, oh, this was the thing and this is like very important, then people will accept it. So you can, again, as I said that, situation might be different. If you can change yourself, you can do the best and you can be still innovative and keep your calm.
Absolutely. And how they say that perseverance is the key. So now, with this fast-paced world, things have been changed. Initially, they used to say that slow and steady wins the race. Now it is about the perseverance. So you cannot be a lot slow. But as you mentioned, it's about the reasoning. If you have your own reasons, people will support you for sure. And now we are going to talk about the support systems, that how critical on based on your experience and how you can guide that this when the things are not working as the way you want, which happens a lot whenever, doesn't matter which kind of research you are doing, but still. So how one should keep their head up and still be motivated and passionate about their research instead of giving up on research.
Yeah, so one thing is that, as Dr. Raja said, like you should accept that these things are kind of normal. The failures are normal. Downtime is normal in the research. So you should first accept it and then accept that everybody has, not everybody, but most of the people has gone through those cycles. So don't lose hope in that case. And then, as I mentioned, that if one door is closed, probably there is another door which is waiting for you and that's open. So again, like, we keep the positive attitude and see what best I can do in the given situations. And if you're positive, I think you'll get the, one door open or another door open for you.
Absolutely. And as you mentioned, Dr. Sanjay, that everyone, or most of us has failed those like faced those failures. I would say that based on the conversation which I had with all the researcher celebrities till now, so either at the earlier stage or somewhere in intermediate or later, sooner or later you are going to face failures. That is almost 100% certain. Now, what makes us the passionate researcher is what we learn from it and then how we overcome that hurdle. It can be in terms of as minute as just mislabeling of the bottles, which has happened. And this was one of the researcher celebrity conversation which we had, that this person was somebody just changed the label, or like they changed the reagent without changing the name of the label, and then they were struggling it for almost a month or two. And that is why when they say that if you are doing some critical experiments, then A to Z, everything, you should know what is labeled, what are the reagents you are going to use, and you should, if possible, that you should be the one who's preparing that if it is that critical. And if it is not, like the way that Dr. Sanjay said, that things are not working, troubleshooting is the one of the craziest and the funniest thing. When you do troubleshoot, that's where you sometimes find that the things are not that like the science is obviously working, science has to work, that is why we all are in here. So if there are any incidents like this which has happened to you in your research life, which you can share with our audience.
So you're asking like something was wrong and that's why the experiment was
Yes.
not working.
Yeah.
But I don't remember something like that. But I remember that I have hypothesized that things will work that way.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, if I am like injecting the mice 2 times, I will have like more labeling of the cells.
Mm-hmm.
But what I found that there was like less labeling of the cells,
Mm-hmm.
and that's like your experiment is not working because your hypothesis is not working.
Mm-hmm.
But because of that, I could open a new like direction, because
Yeah.
of that phenomenon. Because there is always reasoning if something is not working, as you expect. I mean, it's your thinking, it's not, you have not proven. When you do the experiment, then only it's being proven. And in the biological system, there are hundreds or millions of things which might not be working as you are thinking. So maybe something else is happening and that's the real phenomenon. So you can chase that and then you will find a way. And I'll give another example. And because of that, like we are doing that research for almost 10 years now, and that has opened all the new avenues for us. So we were thinking, so we were working for the immune response, and we were thinking that monocytes are the cells which are taking up this antigen. So we were working, and then we did like in purified system, that was the case. But when we did in the whole blood system, that was not the case. So we were like, oh, the experiment is not working. But in the whole blood system, what we found that B cells were the cells which were taking the antigen, and that was because of the complement system. So like we spent like 6 months almost, and then thinking, oh no, we are getting the wrong result. But that was the correct result, and that's a more physiological result. That was a more physiological result, and that we are following since last 10 years.
Absolutely. And this is the beauty of science, how I always say that hypothesizing research is the starting point. Your experiment might or might not support your hypothesis. If it supports, that's just piece of cake and you just end up publishing your research. But the fancy start, which I see that the researcher should be excited about, is when the hypothesis is not working the way you want it. And now, because you has hypothesized something based on your experience, available literature, and their peer discussions. So if something is not working the way it is, that means there is something else needs to be discovered by you, as Dr. Sanjay said, and then you can actually open a new realm of, either it is a new science or probably something even more. Talking of which, Dr. Sanjay, you had a patent and you have developed some methodologies, techniques also. How you guide and give your experience that the PhD students in India, now we have seen that during their PhD they become entrepreneurs also, because they have actually discovered something which was not following the hypothesis, and now they know that there is this potential for translational research. So based on your experience, what you will suggest them?
Yeah, and first of all, I will clarify that it has not been granted yet. It's still like international phase or something like that.
Mhm.
Yeah, so no, entrepreneurship is like very good like avenue, like if you have passion for that. But and then if you have idea, and that's the best thing, if you can take one scientific discovery to a product that could be directly helpful to the humankind, that's a great thing. And again, don't get fascinated by all the entrepreneurship, or like he started with $1 and became the billionaire. I mean, that's a good thing, but don't think that you will always become billionaire. But still you can pursue that passion, and then you'll be successful. So yeah, certainly, like again, you have to look with a different angle that how this thing could be useful for the for the translation thing.
Absolutely. And now when we do talk about, everybody is like, okay, I want to help community. I want to serve the community. I want to do translational research. I always try to make this point that yes, it is very good, but fundamental research, the foundational research is as important as it was, it is, and it always will be, because all these either making, thought to industry and or to the society, there is this work which was done, which we have to do. There is no bypass of that. In research, how we say that you cannot get the results without performing those experiments. So you have to start with that. Now, I would like to ask Dr. Sanjay about when at some point of career, now what we see in India, that people are dropping out after 3, 4, or even 5 years in their PhD, and then they drop out. How they should approach that?
No, so it's again, I think as we were discussing earlier, like if you think that because different, all people are not same, people are different. Some people want different kind of lifestyle. So you have to like answer that question from within, like, I should not guide you. Like you just think what you want in the life. If this PhD is not giving to you that lifestyle, which you think you will be happy, then it's fine. Means you might think, okay, let me finish the PhD, do the postdocs. Better you change your track, that's better. But if you have the passion, like you think, if you have the passion, then don't get nervous with the failure. You'll be successful one day. So either way, it's fine. If you're dropping, that's fine. If you're pursuing, then don't lose the hope.
Absolutely. And as you just mentioned about prioritizing happiness is what is more important. That do whatever makes you happy, and this is something which we always say in our these conversation, that if research excites you, then pursue it. Research can never give up on anyone. It is us who has to choose that if is this our real passion or not. Because if it gives you a chronic stress, then probably it is not for you, and there is nothing wrong. As Dr. Sanjay said multiple times, that there is another door which needs to be opened by you, and you might be great at that. So just don't force yourself even into the research or into anything else. So always see and do things what makes you happy. Speaking of which, now I would like to ask Dr. Sanjay that in India, another challenge what we are facing at this point of time, that we have a lot of researchers completed their PhD, their postdocs, but are not getting the positions, which is altogether a new, problems that why people are diverting from here. So your experience with Indian system and now in United States, what you can suggest that how they can either prepare themselves before it, or if it is not coming or delaying, how they should keep the calmness there, because this is the word which we have been hearing from you, that keeping your mind calm is when you can be more productive. So your thought.
Yeah, no, and I think I don't think that this is the problem now that we don't have enough opportunities. I have gone through that phase, and that's why I'm sitting here in this office in United States. Otherwise, I would have come to India. I never it was not in my horizon that I will stay back in United States for longer time. But as I mentioned that, you have to look for another door, And, so there are several opportunities which you can pursue as a PhD. And I also agree, whatever passion you have, means if you have like tremendous passion, that's fine. But ultimately, we need a job also to survive. That's the reality. For most of us, like 80, 90, some people are so passionate that they can do, research without anything. So in terms of what they can do, certainly this route is there that you get the PhD, you do the postdoc, and then you get either academic position or you go to industry. So there are like lots of opportunities in industry also. But other opportunities but could be there is like in science policy, regulatory affairs, grant management, and uh, yeah, patent offices. So those kind of opportunities are also there. So if you have got struck that you are not getting the like opportunity in academia and industry, then there are like several opportunities which you can also pursue. And I know many of my friends like who has gone that route.
Absolutely. And this is one thing which also is like it gives you a little bit open. If you are with open mind, you are looking in all those opportunities. Probably one time you realize that you enjoyed more than working wet lab experiments. And this is what have been shared with us with all the audience, with all of you also, from different researcher celebrities, that at one point of time they were like, okay, I'm done working at the bench. Now I just want to do administration in research, or taking another route, as Dr. Sanjay said, doing policies and other stuff. So it is, you have to be very vigilant about your thoughts, your passions, because they also do keep changing. And it is a well-known established fact that a person changes their job profiles at least 3 to 5 times in their lifetime. So if at any point of time you feel it that way, so you are not alone. People have walked that path, and this is one of the ideas behind having researcher celebrity conversation. A, to celebrate the research. B, to give as many as options we can help you to ensure that the success will come to you. Only thing is you have to persevere. And Dr. Sanjay today just mentioned multiple times that you have to not waste time on that door which is not opening. You should always try looking at the alternate doors which are there. The opportunities are there. You should be successful. Everyone has that credibility, that thing that you can easily be successful. The only thing is you should not give up, either as a researcher or uh, as any other profession in your work. With this, now we will say to the audience that if you want to connect with Dr. Sanjay, you can write it to them. If you want Empowering Science Foundation to put you in touch with our researcher celebrities, please feel free to write it to us. And then we have just currently started a mentor-mentee program also. So if you want to have one-on-one mentorship with our researcher celebrities, they are on board. Now it is about you to get the key to your success and keep. Now with this, we'll say thank you very, very much, Dr. Sanjay. It was great having you at our Researcher Celebrity Conversations. And I'm sure that there are so many researchers after listening to the conversation and your suggestion and guidance probably now will be more confident about their ideas and probably will look more for their opportunities nearby.
Thank you, Raja, for like this kind conversation. And I hope that I could be of any, like my advice could help anybody, like, little bit. So
Absolutely, sir. I'm sure that there are so many researchers who can just even because one thing which never changes in research is the way it works. The pace might have changed, but the fundamentals remain the same. And I'm sure that there are so many researchers who can relate to your experiences and probably will be, able to see their current situation, what you have experienced 20 years ago, and will for sure will be benefited with your guidance and suggestions.
thank you.
Thank you very much.